You're the receiver of your experiences only because you are also the giver of your experiences. So that grace that you surrender to, from its own point of view, is your higher you. And the more you separate yourself from that which is creating your experiences, the more you feel victimized and separate and like there is no free will, which is the antichrist, is the anti-thought. It does not exist. No free will does not exist. Everything contains free will. The more you give that story of, I'm separate from my Creator, even if you call it innocence, even if you call it egolessness, it is still a fallacy. It's still an ignorant perspective of creation. It's still not true. You're still separating your vibratory state from that of your higher true self, which is creating everything you see right here, right now. If you want to get closer to that true love, that true wisdom, that true connection, that true humility, that true selflessness, you need to become more as the Creator is. You cannot become more like in vibration by separating yourself from that which creates all that is. You have to become more like it. Always honor your integrity. Always honor the integrity of other people's free will, other beings' free will. Of course, live with as much compassion and kindness and love and generosity as you can. Those are not mutually exclusive. In fact, this becomes more natural as you learn that there is no lack of your creative abilities. And so you feel overflowing with empowerment and confidence because you know that you're in control of your reality all the time on some level. The more you download this knowing, the more you liken your frequency onto the frequency of the Creator, of your higher self. And the more you'll be endowed with the selflessness that are natural qualities of that higher state of consciousness. You can't be selfless by pretending to be, by trying to be. Selflessness is a natural expression of you getting closer in your frequency to who you truly are. Who are you? Are you the victim? Is God the victim? Is your higher self the victim? No. So stop playing victim. Unless you want to be selfish, and insistent and arrogant, even in your humility. Oh, I know nothing. I have no power to create. Your will is my will. Well, that is true. Because it's you. But you have to become, at your own pace, at your own comfort level, more and more and more as the Creator is. And you have to not be afraid of embracing your power. And you have to know that you're a good person, that you are an abundant being that does not perceive lack and therefore does not need to steal happiness from others in order to be happy him or herself. This is where the false humility story comes into play. It's like, well, if I am powerful, then other people must lack power. If I am happy, then other people must be lacking happiness. If I'm happy, I can only be happy by stealing it from you because there's only so much water on this planet, because there's only so much money in the banks, because there's only so much happiness around. Man-made thoughts, not God-made thoughts. How does God see life? How does the Creator see life? How does your higher self perceive this moment? As one of many infinite possible realities, all coexisting right here, right now, with no lack for anyone in any aspect of life. That is how it sees creation. If you want to become more like it, you have to see more as it sees. How do you do that? Clear out any perspective that makes you feel bad. That's where the guidance system of the emotional body comes in. It is your higher self letting you know the fastest way to merge with it, to become more like it in form, in expression. Whenever you feel bad, it is letting you know that you're placing your vibration further away from the truth of creation. Whenever you feel good, it's letting you know that the way you see life is rooted in a vibrational state, a position that is closer in alignment to the way that the Creator sees itself. That's what feels amazing. So in order to attract an amazing life, pay attention to when you feel bad. Transform the negative perceptions that distort you further away from the one, and replace it with a perspective that is holistic, beautiful, compassionate, and abundant and infinite in nature, and you'll feel instantly better. Why? Because the emotional body is not a random mechanism, although we've polluted it quite a bit. Make it seem random. But it is a very clear guidance system, even now in our polluted state, of higher self communicating to lower self, whether or not our perspective is right or wrong. Very simple. Yes, there is right and wrong in that sense. Not value-wise. Everyone is right. Everyone has validity, equal validity. But in terms of your perspective being correct or incorrect, that's absolutely there. And incorrect perspectives still add to the expansion of creation, so it's still allowed, it's still valid, it's still loved. However, from a very individual relative point of view, the quickest way to become more as your higher self already is to notice when you feel bad and change your perspective to one that feels amazing, which is literally your higher self entering your being, letting you know, thank you for widening your channel to receive more of me. This is what feels good. When it feels bad, it means you're contracting yourself. You're pinching, you're squeezing the flow, the amount of flow of higher self that is possible for you. So something is up, something is happening, something is incorrect in the way you see life. In order to accelerate your expansion, which will always be gradual as long as you're physically focused, but that's beautiful, that's valuable, is to expand, to open up, to receive more joy, to know you're worthy of joy, first of all. Because to think you're not worthy of joy is already an out-of-alignment perspective. As long as you believe you're unworthy of feeling good, you're not going to allow yourself to feel good. So check in before you even try this empowerment thing. See if you believe you're worthy of feeling good. Or whether that's a bad thing, a sinful thing, an egotistical thing. My teacher told me I should not feel good. It's bad to feel good. It's not in acceptance, it's not in flow. I should feel bad and be really happy about that. I should feel bad and accept it as it is and not move. Just don't move. Don't think. Okay, sorry. Or are you allowed to be happy? Which is the way the universe communicates with itself. You have to understand that beyond the human level, there is only infinite bliss. If you want to become more expanded, more selfless, more true in your view of life, you have to let go of the human view of life, which is rooted in lack and unworthiness. It's not true. It's valid. It's an expression of the infinite. But it's not true. It's not correct. It doesn't feel good because it's not correct. Whatever is true feels good. Like truly, holistically, peacefully good. And excitingly good. Not just like, oh yeah, this feels good, but underneath, no, I know I did something that, I stole this happiness from someone else, and now I think I feel good for a moment. But no, not really. That's not the type of happiness I speak of. The happiness, the feeling good I speak of is a holistic overflowing of goodness. Feeling amazing about yourself no matter what. That is what creation is like all the time. Aside from inside the human mind bubbles. Even the human mind spiritual bubbles. If you truly wish to develop a true view, you have to let go of the human view, including the religious and the spiritual and the self-realization human view. You gotta really be selfless enough to get past all your barriers of sin and unworthiness and being afraid of your arrogance, which is the most arrogant thing you could do. Just be afraid of becoming arrogant. How arrogant of you to think that when you expand, you will become more egotistical. How's that possible? The ego is the substitute servant that takes care of us when we don't. What's the worst way to take care of yourself? By feeling bad all the time and reinforcing that, believing that that's how you should feel. Then of course the ego effect kicks in, because it wants to take care of you, make sure you're all right, make sure you're safe. Paradoxically, the ego effect-free state does not appear humble per se. It appears bright and luminous and shiny and generous and free and epic and awesome and radiant and powerful, and it stands out, but only because no one else does. not because it is arrogant. It stands out because everyone else insists upon something that's not true, and they're closing down their channel. Then someone that opens up will stand out, will seem more shiny, will seem more arrogant. Only because you don't. Listen to the arrogant people in this world. Learn from them. Not in a negative way. Learn from them in a harmonious way. Learn from the confident people. Learn from the shiny people, whether in the field of spirituality or not. I don't care. Can be a business owner that's highly successful. And yes, that may have a lot of misperceptions regarding the nature of reality. But learn from their state somehow and apply it to your own harmonious, integral knowing of the goodness that you are.